In this lesson, we're going to be setting up our local machine. So go ahead and open up your terminal. I've got mine open over here on the right-hand side, and I've also got my editor open to the default directory. If you don't already have a directory, you can do make, and I'm going to just call the directory that I'm working out of tweet. So mk directory tweet. I've already got that. So go ahead and change directory, go into that directory tweet, and you'll see that right now it's empty. So we need to create a few things. npm init. So what npm init will do is it's going to initiate the node package manager. And it's going to ask us a bunch of questions here. So package name, so tweet is fine, version is fine, description, we'll just leave that empty, entry point, index.js, test command, no Git repository, no keywords, no author, no license, and of course you can customize these as needed. So this was just for the purposes of this lesson. So I'm just doing a really quick creation of the package.json, and once everything is okay, we can just hit OK and it will create package.json. So we see that over here on the left-hand side within that editor folder, that package.json, and this is the contents of package.json actually. So now we're ready to continue to build this out. And the other thing that we need is we've set a main entry point, so that's index.js. So let's go ahead and create that. So again, on a Mac, it's touch index.js, and that will create a blank file called index.js or whatever you've named it. So now we've got our entry point. We've got our JSON package set up, and we're also going to now set up a few packages that are available from NPM. So one of the packages that I really like to use is Nodejs. So what Nodejs does is it allows us, so do npm install Nodejs. So this is going to save us a little bit of work where we have to constantly restart every time we update our index.js file. So once you install that, you can launch your index.js using Nodejs. We're also going to have to install Express. So that's the next thing that we're going to install. So once Nodejs is set and ready, then we can do an Nodejs index.js, and that will launch index.js. So whatever changes we make here, it will restart the server whenever we make changes and save it. So we'll just type in here, restart, so that we can actually see that every time it's restarting. And you see that once I made some changes to my index.js and saved it, we get a clean restart and we're back up and running once again with our index file. So this saves us some trouble because typically you'd have to go over to your terminal and constantly run node index.js every time you make changes. So it can become a little bit of a hassle. So it's always good to have these really cool packages that help you develop and more focus on the code. So the next thing that we wanted to install is we want to install Express. So I'll open up another window for this, and we're installing Express. So Express is super popular. We can see there over 4 million users have downloaded it and installed it. And it's really the quick and easy way to set up a server. So you can simply grab the code that's available on Express and paste it on index.js. And we'll see that right now we're going to throw an error because we haven't installed Express yet. So let's go ahead and install it. So Control C in order to break out of our Nodejs. npm install Express. So that's going to install Express, and then once we start our Nodejs back up, we're going to see that whenever we go to port 3000 or whatever port we've set up here, that we're going to see hello world being output there. So let's start that up. Nodejs index.js. So start that back up, and browser, and refresh it, and there we go. So we've got our server up and running. So it's as easy as that to create that with Express. And there's a number of other things that we still need to set up here. So I want to create a new folder. You can do that, make directory, and we're going to make a directory called public. And then we're going to navigate into public and touch index.html. So what this is going to do is this is going to create an index.html page. So a blank index.html page sitting within public. And with Express, we also have the option to set up a static file. And if you want more information on what you can do with Express, and there's a ton of stuff you can do, one of the things that we wanted to do is set up a static route. So that's middleware. And you can see that within the Git organization. So if we go to GitHub Express.js, and then we can go to Express, and you can see there's a ton of different examples that are available here. So they have that same one that we've already copied, that minimalist, to get up and running. And you can see here that there's a bunch of examples here that you can simply copy and paste. So the one that we're looking for is we want to actually have static routes. So that's available. So that gives us that hello text. And if we go to index.js, you can see here that they've linked to a public folder. And you can also bring in joint, and you can bring in that public folder within that way as well. So we just simply copy this one and minimize this. Go back to our index.js, and instead of get, so it's now going to go over to the public file, and we can create our index.html, save that. So nodemon index.js. So there we go. So we're up and running. So we do need to go back into our index.js file. And so we've got path there. So we need to specify path. So let's set that up. So variable path equals require path. And restart that. So now whenever we go to our whenever we restart our application at port 3000, we see that we're no longer using the route, we're using that index.html page. So that's what we want set up. So go ahead and set this up on your system, install Express, link to that static path, and the next lesson, we're going to continue to build this out and add in a few more packages that we're going to need to make use of in the upcoming lessons.